Welcome to Guelph Fight Wrestling. I'm Andrew Sennedra, and this is the Madman, Captain Witchfingers, and welcome to Wrestling Revisited, where we're going to talk about like more obscure wrestlers, obscure matches, rivalries, things like that that people didn't really talk about on like biographies. So you might be thinking, well, why are you doing Kenny Omega? But we're doing Kenny Omega in Japan. That's why it's called Omega Man in Japan. And Kenny Omega is one of a kind, just like the movie. But really, yeah, the reason for doing this video is I feel like the West has judged him based, solely on his AEW career. And since most humans are too lazy to go back and check out even some of his career in Japan, we wanted to describe why Kenny Omega's career is so great, from so many different nuances and facets, and his evolution that he developed in Japan into the individual that he became, and all the success that he had, in New Japan. Well, not even just New Japan, but like DDT as well. So like right off the bat, his evolution has been outstanding, going from a slightly smaller, high-flying, high-paced, high-excitement type of wrestler, type of level in DDT, and his junior heavyweight time in New Japan, to when he bulked up into the heavyweight New Japan division. So you see, an evolution right there just by beefing up a little bit. But he still kept a lot of his aerial attacks and his high-paced moments and matches were still in there, even when he bulked up to the heavyweight division in Japan. But he added more power moves to his arsenal, which are really, really impressive when he added that. So there's some like really sweet power moves from Kenny Omega. He also had some amazing storytelling with long arcing stories in New Japan that he used to do. Even that he translated over in AEW, like his one with Hangman Adam Page. They had a really long story arc, but that kind of, I think, idea came from his story with Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, I like the Ibushi arc where they start as friends and then they turn into like a gray area when he joined the Bullet Club.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they couldn't be friends for like 10 years and then they reunite.
I don't know if it was 10 years.
And then they reunite again at the end and then you feel like the raw emotions, the hug, the tears. I was like, man, that's powerful. I think fans were crying too in the audience.
Yeah, you definitely see a lot of, and some people even mentioned how like that storyline impacted their lives because of like the Golden Lovers sort of theme, the storyline about like these two men, right? Like it doesn't just have to be like a love between a woman and a man and things like that, but like these two men as well. So yeah, I definitely think that was a really impactful storyline, and like you said, it was long, not 10 years, but it definitely stretched out for a long period of time, and there was actually some actual real sort of or whatever, maybe not dissension, but discontent between both of them, because Kota Ibushi actually moved up when they split up. He moved up the tier where Kenny wanted to be, and then it kind of changed places when he went and joined the Bullet Club, and they kind of switched spots. And they did a lot of seed planting and stuff in that storyline throughout the years as well, especially towards the end when they did reunite. So yeah, definitely a really massive storyline, and did a lot for both of them, and really, really memorable.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that interaction. Like they were friends, they were rivals, and then they're also like a bit of jealousy, like you mentioned, like back and forth.
Like real jealousy.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Kenny mentioned
there was real animosity as they kind of went on.
But it wasn't like, intense stuff, but there was that like little bit of jealousy in each other because they both wanted to reach specific heights. So yeah, it's pretty impressive storyline that one was. Other things that Kenny did was he also developed his character. We just kind of mentioned his character, his personality, based on the direction of like where he was going or who he even was wrestling. Like if he's wrestling like a Tanahashi, he was like more evil in ways. Sometimes he was more sinister and crazy, like and when he became the Bullet Club leader, and he kind of became the Albert Wesker of New Japan, and the cleaner. He became the cleaner with his broom sweeping, right? You love his broom sweeping. He's even involved like his desire to want to try out new matches or match settings and things like that, like his hardcore style match with John Moxley was a new thing. That was obviously AEW, but he's always been open to doing new matches and stuff, like the time he wrestled that little girl. So, things like that. So he's always, trying new things, whether it's, might seem goofy or dangerous, but that's always in there. Like, he's obviously his accomplishments, like, in the G1.
Yeah, he was the first Westerner to win the G1, was put over by one of the biggest stars in Japan. History, Okada,
it's kind of like being put over by Tanahashi, being put over by Kazuchika Okada, especially at that time, right? Like, Okada was such one of the biggest stars ever in Japan, and finally Kenny getting over that hump and being that guy was massive for him.
And he innovated a lot of his moves, adding little tweaks here and there. He's not doing like the same old, like Brain Buster, add little twists here and there.
Little details.
His own style kind of thing.
Yeah, little details and nuances to his arsenal. He also does like plenty of his matches, like outside of just moves and stuff like that, is with facial expressions. He kind of goes crazy and different things. He sells things a specific way with his face, with his body reactions and stuff like that. His ability to other things that he does in the ring, as well as his ability to land brutal looking sounding moves and yet still be extremely safe. Like his nasty V triggers, those sound horrible. And another thing that, that we're adding to his abilities is his great cardio, shown in the fact that Japan trusted him not only to go like main events and huge long main events, including his 1 hour epic match with Okada. That had to be extremely grueling. 30-minute match at that pace would have been intense, but like an hour, and being able to still do those moves safely to one another, like that, just his cardio in his prime was just absolutely insane. And some of the stuff, long matches he was able to do with bigger wrestlers too, like picking up guys like Michael Elgin. Like he's just incredible strength and incredible cardio, and that's just another ability that he had. Other abilities that I thought he had was like to kind of wrestle like almost any style and anybody, to put on great matches in first time meetings like he did in the G1 Climax 26 finals against Hiroki Goto, like wrestling that style and being cohesive with a guy that he just met, for the first time. Like, how do you not have hiccups about where you're going? Like, clearly each guy is not just well-rounded in their own ability, but kind of probably studies the other person and knows where they're going to be and how their moves are going to do and like what they need to do when they're doing their moves, right? Like, you got to jump at specific times and things like that. So that's amazing ability to have great matches like on first time meetings, like I said, with Hiroki Goto. Not only that, we kind of settled down on like his influence on many other wrestlers he's had, especially like the following generation of somebody that was coming up who had admired him quite a bit and did quite a bit of a lot of what Kenny does and things like that, as Will Ospreay. You can see the influence that he's had on the future, or those wrestlers and people that followed up after him in New Japan and probably all over the world. I just don't know all of the ones that have credited him to his influence.
And don't forget how well he could wrestle in a tag team. How well and cohesive, innovative he was with Kota Ibushi as the Golden Lovers.
Yeah, that's for sure. Those two guys together were just, wild. So yeah, Kenny Omega, quite the individual, really impressive stuff in Japan. I'm going to hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of highlights that we have in there, but I'm also going to put, those matches down in the description below for you guys to check out some of his best stuff from Japan. So I'm going to find as much as I can for you guys to check out down in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed our Omega Man in Japan, our first Wrestling Revisited. We're pretty happy with this, and hope you guys want to see some more of these types of videos, because we've got some more planned. Until next time, folks, how about some heavy wrestling?